Welcome! I'm Christina Whitney, a Handi Quilter studio educator. Today we are going on to part 12 of the Heartfelt Wholecloth quilt series. Join me as we finish up our wonderful project. For our next set of wiggles, we are going to move about 2 inches approximately from this previous set. So I've already gone ahead and drawn a line with my chalk pencil. And then since on my previous wiggle waves I've had to stretch them or shorten them depending on the length of my line, I want to keep that kind of echoing the same length. So I took my high points and just drew a little line right there on the line and my low points. So I've got these reference points that I've already chalked on there to kind of help me as I'm going along so that I can shift the ruler just a little bit as needed to keep that same wave going. So that's just a little tip for that part, and I think we are going to put the ruler in position and then we can start stitching. So I took my painter's tape off of my Handi grips so that the ruler will be able to stay in place a little bit better. I've already brought up my bobbin, and you'll notice I'm right on the edge of my fabric and I don't have any extra fabric. So I don't have my clamps on right now. Generally, I do advise always having your clamps on, but this is one of those rare instances where it's just not gonna work for me. So I've got my ruler lined up with this grid line, lined up with my chalk line, and I've got my high points lined up, my low points lined up, and I think I'm ready to stitch. Okay, so I've stitched out my first line here, and as I talked earlier, I wanted to have my low points the same and my high points the same. That is one way to do it. Another way is how the road map actually shows it, where it's flipped. So the high point would be at the previous low point. So you get a wider section here, and then it comes in skinnier, and then out wide and skinny again. So that's another option. Another thing that I noticed is up in our corners, it's a little bit trickier. We're not going to get that nice point where the high point of the ruler matches up. So I kind of had to wiggle it quite a bit there to make that more of a rounded corner and to keep my measurements the same. So hopefully you will be able to get yours to turn out just the way that you want them. So now I'm going to go back and echo those lines. Okay, now that we've got our 2 sets of wiggle waves, we're going to go ahead and add in some triangles using the half carat diamond template. So this map shows you one way that you can do it. You'll notice their diamonds are in the center and then the triangles are going in opposite directions. Another option is to flip the directions over, and you can do your triangles going the same way all the way around and doing them the same size. For mine, I'm going to do it similar to how I did part 5, and I'm just going to do random sizes of triangles continuing around the full length. We've finished all of our instructions. The only thing left to do is to do your micro quilting fills or whatever you want to do and get it bound and be ready to enjoy it. Thank you for joining me for the Heartfelt Whole Cloth Quilt series.